Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and Gawler and District Softball had a bit of a false start with their finals last week due to hot weather, but the finals are kicking off tomorrow. Sarah McMillan, the association president, joins me on the line to tell us everything we need to know. How are you, Sarah? Good to have you back on the show.
Hi, good. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been a big week.
Yes.
A hot week, and now we've finally cooled down and we can actually get some finals in.
Yes, so with last week's games being cancelled due to the hot weather, and it was certainly the right move because it was an absolute scorcher last Saturday, and thankfully that's behind us now. But what does that do for the finals picture now? Obviously that must have kept you busy this week, sort of reorganising the final structure. But obviously you've lost a week at a time of year when it's you don't really have any weeks to lose. So what does that do to everything now?
Yeah, no one likes to lose a week of finals, but so we had a knockout final this week. We've got 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 in both senior finals. So, yeah, whoever wins both of those games, they play off in the grand final next week.
All right, so not too much catastrophe with the with the scheduling. Obviously, it just goes from a 3-week structure to a 2-week structure, and the juniors were only due to start their finals this week anyway with a 2-week structure. So crisis averted, and thankfully it's not forecast to be in the 40s again tomorrow.
No, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend.
Absolutely, it does. So we should get some great softball in. And let's start out with a preview of the Div 1 games, because the matchups, like you said, they're a little bit different to what they were due to look like last week, now that it's a 2-week structure. So it's 1v4, which is the Kangas taking on Two Wells. Now, Two Wells found some form late in the season, but do you give your team much of a shot here upsetting the Kangas? They've been the powerhouse team all year, and they'll certainly be hard to topple.
Yes, I think we've just been building up in the last couple of weeks just to take down Kangas, to be the shock of the week. And, yeah, I think we're definitely strong enough to take them down. But, yeah, we'll see what happens on the day.
Well, yes, we've made a big deal of Two Wells' improvement throughout the year, and I suppose it certainly has been all building up to this moment right here. So Kangas and Two Wells for a spot in the grand final. Certainly not writing Two Wells off for the upset, but the Kangas will be feeling good going into that game and taking some confidence in. And it's the Blue Jays taking on the Vikings in the other game, 2v3, been pretty evenly matched all year, had some cracking games. Last game they played, the Vikings won 7-5, nice and close, and that one was just 2 weeks ago. So how do we see this one going, Sarah?
Yes, well, that's a tough call. I thought Blue Jays were, even though they had some pretty close games, I think Blue Jays were still sitting quite on top. And then 2 weeks ago, Vikings took them down, and it was a little bit of a surprise, but I think Vikings are just showing that they are still right up there and just as strong as the other team. So that'll be I think it'll be a very close game and a very long game. It'll be taken out to the end. And I reckon Blue Jays have it in them, especially when it's a do or die type of deal.
And that's exactly what it is, do or die. So that is going to be a fantastic game. Like we said, they've been building and they're arriving at the right time of year. So going to be a very good game there. Let's look at the Div 2s, where the Kangas are taking on the Blue Jays in the first final for a spot in the grand final. And again, these two, lots of good games this year. The Blue Jays winning the most recent one, 6-4.
Yeah, so the Kangas have been building strong right through the season, and Blue Jays, I think, have just been under the radar a little bit with their building team spirit and getting right on there. So they're a little bit of a surprise to see how well they've done through the year, and it'd be good to see a good, solid game. I'm not going to choose.
We don't like fence sitting here on the Flow Friday Sports Show, Sarah.
That'll be the game that I'm watching.
All right, well, we'll see how it unfolds as it goes along. And yes, we've got the Vikings taking on the Giants in the other game. And again, they've been pretty tight all year, some topsy-turvy results. It's been quite unpredictable in the B grade all year long with pretty much all these teams, which means it's going to be a thrilling final series. But Vikings won 2 meetings this year. Giants won once, and the most recent meeting was the Vikings winning 10-6. So there's been some high-scoring games here, some close games, and it's looking like this one really could go either way.
Yes, I think the weather last week has sort of thrown the finals into a different ball game. Really, that the games have become a lot closer lined to see who's going to take them out. But Giants are a very strong team, and Vikings are. I think they're a building strong team, and I think they're coming out right at the right time as well. I'm going to make a call as Giants taking them out, but I think it will be a very high-scoring, close game.
All right, well, it certainly won't be their first high-scoring close game for the year if it does go that way. Very excited to see how it goes. So that is the weekend ahead in the seniors for the first week of finals. Let's have a look at the juniors who are also starting finals this weekend, and we'll start in the under-17s where it is the prelim between the Giants and the Kangas. And again, some really good games between these two. The Kangas winning the most recent matchup, which was at the end of February, 8-7, and they had a 12-10 matchup, which the Kangas won as well. So the Kangas have had their measure in the close games, but the Giants have had at least one win for the year as well. So this stands to be a really good game. Yes,
the Kangas I think are a little bit older, and they're quite strong, but the Giants they're very quick, very quick indeed. So once they get on, they get around that diamond real quick, and it's hard to chase them down. So trying not to sit on the fence, I think it'll be a great game. And I would like to see the Kangas get up, not just for this game. Yes.
All right, tips in for the Kangas in that one, which takes us to the under-14s to round out the action for the first week of finals, and it is the Kangas taking on Trinity College, just the one game between them for the year, with Trinity College winning 7-6. So they had a few more games scheduled, but didn't quite get teams on the park for the others. So they've only actually had the one matchup. So stands to be an interesting match here. They don't really have a read on each other. Like you've said about the under-14, some of the players have been growing throughout the year and getting more power in their big hits, and this one really could go either way.
Yes, Giant under-14s are all as quick as under-17s. They are really hard to chase down once they get on the diamond. So if they're getting their hits in, I think they'll be the ones to beat.
All right, good to see a better forecast in the weather ahead of this weekend so that we'll, get on and get the finals started in Gawler and District Softball. Sarah, thanks very much for all that information. Always good having you on the show. All the best to you this weekend and to everyone else playing or umpiring or having any involvement in this comp. Hopefully it all goes well. And Sarah, looking forward to getting some results from you next week.
Yes, thank you very much for having me on. And I look forward to being on the diamond next week. I'll catch up with you next week.
All right, very good stuff. Thanks, Sarah.
Yes, thank you.